And the recording. I can't believe we got popped. I can't believe that we got popped. I mean, I guess I can. I mean, fair observation. Yeah, I was kind of curious who done it. Yeah, it looked like, yeah, I was going to say, it looked like somebody who's just like got a side business as a streamer.
Pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault.
We're gonna have to repeat
Just
that
remember,
once we get
I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it.
39.
Just
Huh? Oh, 2:28 left before I start talking. I'm glad I looked at Discord when I did, because we were out house hunting. I was out house hunting. I was like, yeah. I was out house hunting. I was like, oh shit. And I was just like, yeah, well, I was out house hunting, and I'm like, okay, I guess I should, since she was driving, I was just hang out and scan the phone while she drove. And then I saw the conversation, I'm like, oh my god. Something's wrong. And I'm like, oh, and I have to, I'm working tonight. Okay, bye. I'll be in the closet.
You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just Just
From Hickory Motor Speedway, the All-Pro Sim Racing League is ready to make another stock car racing star tonight at the birthplace of the NASCAR stars. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sim Racing Media. Now that he's gone to victory lane in back-to-back weeks, Alex Papini is in hot pursuit of a third win in a row here in Hickory, North Carolina. With his win last week, Papini also added some cushion to his point standings lead over fellow competitor Jackson Lewis, who now trails Alex by just 24 points. It may be winter here in Philadelphia. The Super Bowl may be just a few days away, but tonight, all eyes are on this 3/8 of a mile asphalt oval in North Carolina. I'm Dave Regal alongside the SRM boss man, Mr. James Riles, here in the broadcast booth, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on Sim Racing Media. And, you know, James, we get to work side by side again tonight, and, you know, I guess we should probably get this out of the way early, talk about the elephant in the room. We are live on Facebook tonight, and we will be posting this video to YouTube later, but due to some issues that we had on YouTube yesterday, we are live on Facebook tonight. I'll tell you what, that's exciting for me, especially as being a normal cup driver and, of course, usually covering Xfinity and truck leagues. So getting to see twins tonight here in the late models, out of all places, Hickory, North Carolina, I mean, this is exciting. And as the wall says here on the inside, it's America's most famous short track, or the world's most famous short track. And a lot of history is locked up inside this old track as Corey Rogers getting underway on his qualifying effort here. Alex Papini also coming out in that number 28 machine. And Papini leading our point standings has been impressive all season long.
Comes here to Hickory, the birthplace of the NASCAR stars. It's going to be a good one. This 3/8 of a mile track has some good banking in it, 14 degrees and 12 degrees, but that's not it. When it gets to those straightaways, 8-degree straights. So you got help all the way around if you choose to use it, as we're taking a look at Alex Papini getting a little bit into that outside wall. But the thing about this short track, 3/8 of a mile all the way around, and boy, it's giving them fits already. I can't wait to see what these drivers are able to do with these late models.
Yeah, Papini biting a piece of wall here on that at the end of his second lap. Of course, you know, once those two laps are recorded, you can pretty much have a little bit of fun there. And right now, Ty Fredrickson getting the number 36 machine all wound up, as looks like the front of this 36 is already crinkled, and not sure what might have happened during his qualifying effort, but looks like he's having a little bit of trouble guiding the machine here around this racetrack.
Yeah, he just wanted a little bit of extra downforce, but he's going to come down to the pits, get that car refreshed before the feature here. Now, I'm telling you, if you're watching at home, we do appreciate it over on Facebook. So again, sorry about the delay. We'll make sure we get the updated one over on YouTube as soon as possible. But these drivers and these cars, they have quite the night ahead of them. We're starting right now with qualifying, and only the top 16 drivers are going to be able to go straight to the feature. Then we're going to have a last chance qualifying heat on where the top 8 are going to advance onto those two features. And then we have two twins, 75 laps each, top 16 from qualifying. They made it to the end, but it's not going to be easy. They're going to be inverted for that first heat, or for that first feature, I should say, 2 features. And then this feature number 2, the top 10 are going to be inverted. Not to mention, you know, you talked about earlier, Alex Papini going to have to claw his way from the back again, because the winners from last week, guess what? There's no love here. You're going to the back of the field of the feature no matter what. If you make it, of course, Alex Papini's already up there in second. He's in no way, shape, or form worried about not making it in as long as he got a couple good laps in. But that's what some of these drivers were seeing is they did not get good qualifying laps in. Take a look at a couple drivers already that I'm seeing. Pretty much everybody did, but a couple, you're going to have to go in there. You're going to have to put down at least a freaking good qualifying lap to try and get that way in. You do not want to have to fight for a feat through to the feature.
No, and if there's any indication to Alex Papini's ability to drive through the field, it would be last week where, of course, he also had started at the rear. And I'll tell you what, last week I started to think, wow, there's a lot of traffic that you've got to drive through. There's a lot of patience that you have more than anything. And Papini proved himself to be absolutely capable of, biding his time, let everybody else make their mistakes and prove why you sit atop the point standings here as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. And Papini, of course, right now sitting P2 on the timing chart here. Grayson Ward laid the best time down so far, beat out Papini by 1/100th of a second. And I'll tell you what, that just shows the skill level that these drivers have as Jaden Dahlberg wipes out on his outlap as he gets back underway. That number 036 is going to be a little crinkled here. But, hey, there are a lot of cars, James, that when you get a little bit of extra damage there, regardless of where it is, suddenly that can make your car better.
Yeah, and that's we're not working with much aero anyways in these cars, right? They're the late models. They're not built for those big super speedways. You don't really have to deal with aero as much where they're driving. So you can come out, you can beat and bang these things up, and we're going to see drivers do that. They're going to lean on these cars. They're a little bit stronger for sure and able to get out and just go to town with these here at Hickory Motor Speedway because I'm telling you, this is the place where it happens. Ralph Earnhardt, track champion, Junior Johnson, track champion, Ed Jarrett, just all the way around. This is where people have came to risk it for the biscuit. And I tell you, some of these drivers are ready to do so. As the points, you said, they're not tight. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. They're not a tight points right now. But those guys at the front really need to try and get in and get as many of those points as possible so they can move on and try and have a little bit of a buffer as we head into New Smyrna next week. And then, of course, the championship at North Wilkesboro.
No, and you say that those points are not tight, and that's absolutely right. Speaking of Ralph Earnhardt, Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s favorite soda was Sundrop, and we can see right here on the concession stand that Sundrop logo. I do like it. It tastes good mixed with other libations, if you will. But Alex Papini has a 24-point lead over Jackson Lewis. There are 83 points between third and first. Garrett Stracata there in third position on our season standings, trailing by 83 points. So he's got a lot of ground to make up here as we continue to go through this schedule. And looking ahead on the schedule, we're going to be basically next week at New Smyrna, and then the 20th, February 20th, going to be at North Wilkesboro. So just 2 races left in the season, in this 12-week season. And I'll tell you what, James, I don't know about you, but there's something special about, racing twins. I mean, duels and things like that. Of course, with so many leagues getting ready to start their seasons, we're going to see a lot of this over the next couple of weeks with Daytona coming up and some of our other leagues on Sim Racing Media.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of our final races coming up. We've got some leagues starting, some leagues kind of finishing out, but I tell you, we got it all here at Sim Racing Media, and it is going to be absolutely, it's going to be worth it. And I don't see Jackson Lewis as an entrant here today.
No, taking a look through our timing and scoring here, I do not see the young man with us, so not sure if he's going to be making an appearance tonight as qualifying is basically complete and the drivers are in the drivers' meeting. What do you say we step aside and pay some bills early on here, and when we come back, we will get ready for that first heat?
Absolutely. And I'll say this for Facebook. This is iRacing. We are here watching. I know it looks real and the action's real for these drivers. So sit back and enjoy.
What's up, guys? Roger Diebold, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Hickory Motor Speedway. We're getting ready for heat number 1, and I'll tell you what, this is a pretty exciting night. Dave Regal alongside Mr. James Riles for the second week in a row, brother. And it's always a treat when you and I get to work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't have a better show than these late models in this last chance qualifier. Tell you what, it's going to be wild. We got a lot of drivers gridding up right now. And again, some of these drivers are not going to go through they're already in. So a lot of these drivers in the grid, you'll see that it's heated up a little bit differently. iRacing makes us do that. So they're going to go through the full grid, and then it's going to restart, re-rack them, restack them, get it done as these are going to try and figure out what everybody's kind of gridding with. But I tell you, it's always a blast with you, Dave, and we couldn't have got a better show than here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Everyone in the chat, do appreciate you for making the move over to Facebook. We already have Julie Henricks hollering at us, saying she's from Rockton, Illinois. Well, hopefully, if you're around where they serve some Richie's Smokin' Barbecue, you can hit them up, as they are the sponsor of this series, the title sponsor. And that, again, Richie's Smokin' Barbecue. It is, man, I tell you, if you're in McChesney Park, Illinois, or abouts, that's where I'd go. If you got to go real quick and order yourself something to go, pick it up, get to the house, watch this racing, because it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, you know, the next time that I'm in that neck of the woods, and I'm hoping to get out toward Illinois, you know, in the next couple of months here, that'd be fun. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you know, Tony's always talking about the garbage plate up in New York, and this seems like a stop that I have to make out there in the Midwest. And right now we're taking a look here at our starting grid. Brett McCoy up front as it stands right now as we get rolling here under the flag stand. Brett McCoy going to lead us off here with Kevin Knudsen going to be on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 made up of Kyle Shear and Ed Papineau. Carter Nilsson and David McKee, the fourth, going to make up row number 3. Row number 4 made up of Eric White and Jeff Rogers, with Randy Sargent and Steve Wright rounding out the field here, as Steve Wright going to be starting shotgun back in 10th. And right now we're just waiting for that iRacing.com pace truck to turn its lights off, and it does. So once we come back around, we'll be green flag racing. McCoy, Knudsen, Shear, and Papineau going to lead us to the green flag tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing that's left to do right now is to grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in, because we are about to be green flag racing here on Sim Racing Media. Brett McCoy getting the jump here into number 36. He's got Kevin Knudsen here on the low side trying to work him hard. The double deuce of Kyle Shear in that Tabasco, looks like an Impala paint scheme here, is almost trying to make it 3 wide, and the 10 car goes to spinning. That's David McKee, the fourth, and we are under caution here. We'll take a look back and see what happened. Pretty good start to the race so far, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that this is going to work, and we saw the 10 kind of get around, and yep, there it goes. You only have 8 vehicles that are going to move on to the last chance qualifier. Only 10 cars showed for the heat. So there's going to be quite a bit of battling, but you got to think the guys up front are not going to be the ones that aren't going to fight in the beginning. But you got to think that they're going to try, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, here's the thing that we see more often than not, as we're going to take a ride inside the 10's cockpit to see exactly what might have gone wrong. Looks like he had just come in a little too hot, maybe locked those brakes up to bring the rear around. Fortunately, just a single car incident here, which is fortunate for everybody else. But that, of course, puts David McKee down in the pits. Kevin Knudsen behind the pace car. You know, one of the things that we see more often than not is, you know, these drivers just coming in a little hot, those cold tires, you know, it's almost like a disease around here, James.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers trying to make something happen, trying to move as quickly as possible, and that's what gets you. It gets you on those races. And that's what we're going to see, the 86. How can Kevin Knutson keep his composure? As that was the first lap is done, so these drivers probably going to be single file here. I don't think iRacing is going to do a double file restart.
No,
but
generally,
these drivers,
well, with the pace truck lights off and they're still single file, I believe we are going to have a single file restart.
there we go. So we're going to get another restart here. They're going to have a chance to do it, and that can only help that start because he controls it. And there they go. A little bit of snaking going on. Those coming from the back to the front. As we take a look at 5th on back, the 20 and the 4 car battling it out. 4 car trying to work the top line. Lots of banking here. You can work that top line a little easier because you could get on the throttle. That 8% banking really helping out the number 4, Carter Nilsson, as we are underway. The leader taking off, but now a little bit farther back, battling with the 20 and the 1, the X1. And that inside line is just not moving as much as they thought. That push off so important here to get that good split, as that's position number 7. Is I don't think we're going to see much battling because honestly, Steve Wright in the 61 is the only car that has anything to prove. He's the only one who has to get there. And we see him have a little bit of trouble in the background there, but a little battle for 2nd going on right now. 22, that Tabasco 22 going to try and make it to the inside of the 36, and he does. That's going to open the door for the 4, and we're going to see just how hard they're going to battle here, as they do not want any issues. But 22 making it look easy as a big checkup in the back of the field, side by side, double wide going into 3 and 4. That's going to open the door. The 13 falling back, 61 working to the inside. This is for the transfer spot. That is not a way that you want to lose this race, is getting passed by the last car on the inside line with not many laps to go.
No,
12 out of 30 down.
With 12 out of 30 down and 18 to go now. They are checking them off right now at an interval of just about 15 seconds per. And I'll tell you what, Kevin Knutson is starting to build himself a pretty comfortable lead. We see the now lap
10 in the outside.
David McKee here on the high side, trying to stay out of everybody's way. Of course, get yourself some points and stay out of the way, as McKee does. I'll tell you what, that's something that I'm always impressed to see. You know, I've been the lap car numerous times. Oh! 61 comes all the way around. Steve Wright, we just talked about it a moment ago. He manages to keep it pointed forward, so we stay green here as he gets back underway. My goodness, what a recovery there to make sure that we stay green. Oh, and we are now under caution, as it looks like Randy Sargent may be the culprit here. We're going to take a look.
That's good news if you're Randy Sargent in the 11 car. Oh, I'm sorry, he was the one who got...
Yeah, we're waiting to see exactly what might have happened. He gets on the apron, rubs the wall. I don't see what might have brought this out. It was definitely delayed. I can't imagine it was on the 60.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow. Oh! Thank goodness for that monster truck tire there at the entrance to pit road. And Sargent able to recover and bring it right back. Let's take a look at that again, now that we can find where he was. You know, it's interesting where I have the automatic replay ready to rock and roll. It's an interesting situation when you think about it, because, you know, to be completely honest, we don't often see that particular camera angle. I don't think he had anything taken off from him behind, so definitely nothing nefarious there. You know, something that I was just getting ready to say. We've all been the lap car at some point in our sim racing careers, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be in David McKee's spot or Gleason Smith, where you're trying to stay out of the way, and sometimes it's harder to stay out of the way rather than race with the lead lap cars.
Yeah, you know, the jitters get to you. They're coming to you. You're trying to figure out, okay, because here's what you're going to tell a lap car if you're the leader, right? You're going to say, you know, pick a lane, stay where you are, but also that, you know, you want to stay in the fast lane because that's predictable, right? Well, that's what he did. He got out of the way, got to the high side. That's what some of these drivers got to do. You got to know, hey, this isn't my race. I'm getting lapped for a reason. And that's what he did. So he did it the right way. As we're seeing him re-rack again, the 86 up front with the 22 on the outside. That is going to be Kevin Knutson and Kyle Shear. Carter Nielsen not too far behind him. But the big one to watch is that 11, Randy Sargent. He has a pretty okay lap time so far. As the green flag is out, we are rocking and rolling here. Keep an eye on that 10th position. That's where the fireworks are going to come from if it's going to come out for position.
We're just nearly 3 wide back here with the 20 machine of Eric White as he manages to hold it together and get that salad bowl sorted out. The double deuce of Kyle Shear on the high side of the 20, making his way around. So that top line definitely coming in nicely, but it seems like as the tires have heated up, that low line is now gaining a little bit of traction. Right now we're taking a look at Brett McCoy here in the 36, and that Nielsen late model machine making its way around. And I'll tell you what, everybody now kind of has themselves organized. Of course, just as I say that, the 61 gives a little love tap there to the 11. But everybody has themselves pretty well organized, trying to stay out of the line of fire with 6 laps to go here in heat number 1. Nice single file organization. I think if we look a little bit closer here, we're going to see a little bit of fireworks with now 5 to go. Those 5 laps are just about 75 seconds altogether.
Yeah, and you don't make near as many points, if any at all, if you don't make it to the feature. So the 61 has got to be thinking about that. They could take a look at that red and white, make sure, because if the one's fighting for position here, he has to know that the 61 has been able to get up close and personal in that rear bumper, and that's where he's going to want to give a little love tap if he's trying to make this pass. So the X1 tries to think about going to the inside of the car in front of him. He backs out of it. He doesn't want any trouble because he wants to just keep that 61 behind him. Right now, you're guarding that inside line as much as you possibly can as the popsicle sticks in the air. As they're double in the front. There we go for third. Side by side, they are battling it out here. The 86 just got to hold off for just 2 more turns. There's gets a little sideways. Looks like they're going to, and it's just enough for that transfer position. 61 back there. Almost makes it, but unfortunately that's what's going to happen. So Carter Nielsen, Eric White, Kevin Knutson, Kyle Shear, Brett McCoy, Jeff J, and Ed Papanow, Randy Sargent going to make it through.
You know, again, just as everybody's getting ready to watch Daytona duels and of course the Busch Clash at the Coliseum, a similar format with the heat racing. You know, it's interesting. We hear all the time in broadcasting, you know, hey, let's not focus on the leaders. Let's not focus on the leaders. The heat format actually makes it more exciting to watch the back of the pack. I mean, especially when these guys are out there gunning for, you know, those all too important transfer spots. And another 75 lap heat here for that last chance qualifier, the Consi, if you will, getting ready to grid.
Yeah, and this is even better. You said it, that heat racing, what does it do? It makes us watch those transfer spots because that's the race. Guys up front, if they want to get spicy, they are, you know what, it's racing. You try and tell a racer not to race, and you'll see what we saw earlier. But these drivers know that they're coming in here, and they've got to do everything they can to try and make that feature.
Taking a look here at Jeremy Bingham. Take us through Richie's Smoking Barbecue as well, James, as Jeremy Bingham has that paint scheme on tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, Richie Smoking Barbecue coming on board with us for the season to get this thing out to you. Of course, go into the two-man booth. Couldn't have picked a better pairing myself. Of course, Richie's Smoking Barbecue. You can hit them up on Facebook as well as go to their website, richiessmokingbbq.com, and it says it right there. Treat yourself to delicious food cooked straight here, as it is just. I'm looking at their stuff. It's making me hungry. So give them a holler. You can go ahead and order yourself some good Southern barbecue there if you're on the border there in Machesney Park, Illinois. They are open, of course, Wednesday to Saturday, 11:30 to 7:30. Go and get you some lunch, some dinner. Bring it home. Hey, don't cook. Your Valentine's Day is coming up. You know what your wife wants. Get her some flowers on the side, but what you really want to do for that special someone, wife, partner, whatever you've got going on, you're gonna get them some barbecue. Don't make them cook on Valentine's Day. Don't and if you can't cook yourself, hey, Richie's Smoking Barbecue, holler at them, make that happen. Get yourself some barbecue.
Ah, yes, nothing says I love you like a plate full of ribs smothered in barbecue sauce.
That's right.
I mean, at least if it's me, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you know, I like to go on my favorite dating app. Just kidding, I'm married. But you know, how I met my wife, Dave.
Actually, I don't. We never discussed that.
So I'll tell you, we went to a barbecue joint. I took all my girlfriends to a barbecue joint, and I ordered them a pile of ribs. And if they didn't eat those ribs like the Norse queen that they are, with piles of bones between me and them, that's how I want it to be. So they're going to go into this they're going to go into this relationship over a pile of bones, and that's how we're going to finish it, with her at my steed. Just kidding. I've been watching too much Game of Thrones, but no, get that smoking barbecue. Help out the significant other on Valentine's Day, but get your warrior queen some ribs.
That's fair. You know what? Maybe I'll consider that. I do have a favorite barbecue joint. I do. Just saying. I hope Rebecca's listening, and hopefully she's paying attention. And honey, we're going for barbecue. Happy Valentine's Day.
There you go. So we're gonna have this feature. This is going to be the feature, I believe. This is the feature event. It is going to be 75 laps. 75 laps here at Hickory Creek. Man, I tell you, Hickory Motor Speedway, get you some Richie Smoking Barbecue. It's hand in hand, but it's going to be a good one. Stick around for it. They are getting gridded up as here we get rolling. Ryan Smith going to be starting out up front with Ty Fredrickson, Anthony Donta, Jared Appel up there, Caleb Adrian, and Jaden Dahlberg as well. Row forward, Tyler Deshane, Trent Smith. Then we got Jeremy Brigham at Scott Gardner, Weston Ward, and Corey Rogers. Going to be row 8. Row 7 going to be Grayson Ward and Kelsey Rogers. Then we have Randy Sargent, Brett McCoy, and then Kyle Shear, the final driver. So I'm going to make sure. Fix me if I'm wrong here. I might be having a little bit of technical difficulty on my end.
What's the matter?
Nope, we're good. I just making sure I'm drawing all the cars here so I can see everybody on the racetrack.
Attaboy. Look at you. Solving modern problems with modern solutions. That's what we do here at Sim Racing Media.
Absolutely. But make sure you hit us up in the comments. Make sure you tell us who we are watching. We've got Kim Johnson watching, Julie Hendricks, and of course Sam Homan says, where's Jackson Lewis? I don't know. Where in the world is Jackson Lewis? Because he's going to be losing a ton of points not showing up to this one. But up front, that 51 machine of, oh boy, let me get my timing up there. Ty Fredrickson, Jared Appel, there he is in 151. We've seen him around. If you've been racing here, you're used to seeing that one. As we are green flag racing, Jared Appel on the inside, Ty Fredrickson on that outside. We've seen the outside have the advantage on the cold tires. And there we go. Oh, the 36 up into the 510.
Anthony Donta spins around and we're under caution. Let's take a look here in the wide world of sports and see what might have happened. We're going to keep an eye right here on this 510, right in the middle of your screen, if you will. We're going to see him dive down into turn 1, and it looks like he makes contact with the 36. There's the 36 now, Ty Fredrickson. And then, of course, in the aftermath, we're going to see a little bit of, I'll tell you what, if there's anything that could ever be said about race control being a thankless job, race control in this league, folks, that you can't hear but we can, is just this side of incredible. Oh, 22 just comes in and Kyle Shear makes his lunch. It almost looked like he might have had a hardware failure because that car suddenly turned right. Gonna take a look here from the chopper, if you will. And we're going to see the 22. Oh, no, he got a shove from the 50 there and sent him up into the wall. But race control in this league, James, is just this side of incredible. I mean, you know, he makes sure that, you know, everybody is where they're supposed to be, tighten it back up so we can get back green flag racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that car's going to get a yellow, or not a yellow, I'm sorry. They're going to get a sent to the back. That's what you get for your trouble here if you cause issues.
Well, you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, we have to remember that although that we're all somewhat skilled iRacers, or sim racers, if you will, you know, there are still some of us like me last night, you know, out at the LA Coliseum on Sunday Night NASCAR. Sometimes it just doesn't work the way you want it to, and oftentimes they call your number a few too many times.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about all these drivers trying to get through. Alex Papini, where's is he scored a lap down right now? Did we have? I think Alex Papini may be having connection issues. As green flag is out. Trent Smith up front. Caution out. Caution out.
See what might have brought this caution out as we were back with Alex Papini. Looking around for anybody that's not facing the right way, and I don't see anything just yet. Let's take a look here at the 51. He jumped to the pits pretty quick. Here we go. This should give us a pretty clear view of what might have happened. 51, Jared Appel gets a shove from the 36 and just goes for a spin. Fortunately, he holds it together and just hits that tow button and gets dragged on back to the pits.
Super unfortunate. That's unfortunate for Appel.
It really is.
He was having a good race. Luckily, he's going to have a second opportunity if he can't get that thing going again.
Second caution here as the Richie Smoke and Barbecue tower here on the left-hand side. And folks, if you're wondering why we're using the tower instead of the ticker that you're used to at the top of your screen, in heat and consolation races, it sometimes just happens to work a little bit easier. But don't worry, once we get to the feature, we'll make sure that that ticker is going right across your screen. But as we get reset, it looks like Jaden Dahlberg is being scored in P1. That's interesting.
He had to go through the pits for a travel, for a, yeah, he had to go through a pass-through. And now he's going to have to go to the back, go to the end.
So as we get ready to be reset, re-racked, and restacked, Ty Fredrickson and Tyler Deshane going to be up front with Caleb Adrian restarting in P3. Trent Smith, Scott Gardner going to round out your top five with Corey Rogers, Jeremy Bingham, Weston Ward, Kelsey Rogers, and Grayson Ward rounding out the top 10. It's almost like I every time I look at Grayson Ward and I think that's Bruce Ward, that's Bruce Wayne's Ward, Dick Grayson. For those of us that pay attention to that, just saying. As we get back, green flag racing, Ty Fredrickson gets a jump on the rest of the field and gets ready to start hitting his marks. He's not going to be bothered up here anytime soon as Tyler Deshane in pursuit by about a half second now, as we've got a little tussle going here between the 6th and the 113. That's Trent Smith and Scott Gardner, as Gardner trying not to get shuffled any further back than he already is. He's now side by side with the 17 of Corey Rogers. Corey Rogers trying to hold that low side in that iRacing number 17 late model stock car. He holds the bottom line here with the double six of Jeremy Bingham just behind him in the Richard Smokin' Barbecue late model stock car, as we are now 15 of 75, 16 of 75 laps in at Hickory Motor Speedway. Dave Riegel and James Riles with you. Thank you for making us a part of your evening tonight, folks, as you are watching the Richard Smokin' Barbecue All-Pro Winter Heat Late Model Series, as we have some amazing racing here tonight, James.
Yeah, right behind the 5 car. If you take a look, I believe that's the 33 and the 3 going to battle up top, and then of course the 9 and Kelsey Rogers in that 136 at Papanow in 13 position. He's trying to get up there side by side. So here's what's going to happen. The 5 working to the inside there of the 113 of Scott Gardner. This is the feature, folks. Everybody's going to have a clean car at the next twin, but right now these drivers are battling for points. This is not a heat. This is the feature number 1, and that is what we're seeing. That AMR 13 stuck to the outside. Ward Performance 9 working the inside line, and the 136 is trying to make his way back up as well. As we have had trouble here as the 510 trying to get back out. Keep an eye on that 510. That 510 has blood in his eyes. He's going to have to try and get out there and pick up some laps and see if he's going to pick out who tried to get him. As Jaden Dahlberg in the 036 in 19th right now. He's out there on his own, but he's got some payback for, if we could see it. He's blacked out 510 on the inside. Here for third, Trent Smith and Tyler DeShane, or Caleb Adrian, I'm sorry, trying to do battle here. They are not going to catch Ty Fredericks, and that jump was just, the advantage from leading is so big at late models because it's on that leader to fire, and he took all advantage of it. He wants these guys back in second, third, and keep fighting, keep wasting time. I'm going to keep gapping out as he's got about a second going right now.
Yeah, right now for Trent Smith, what's going through your mind is, hey man, you know, he's thinking Caleb Adrian, go ahead and hit your marks and try to get us up there. You know, we can do battle once we're closer, but at this stage in the race, especially with, you know, on lap 24, you're thinking to yourself, I still got 50 laps to go. So there's a lot of racing left in this first feature. Take a look at Tyler DeShane in 33. He's still trying to keep off Jeremy Bingham from his rear, as right now it looks like Weston Ward has a snootful of Jeremy Bingham's rear bumper, trying to get through turn 2 here as they hit the backstretch.
Yeah, see those brakes glow, and these are smaller brakes than what we're used to seeing on most of our stock cars, but they are running right now. It's not really doing it justice to see it on the screen because they just make fast look so smooth. It's 70 miles an hour in the turns. They're going highway speeds through these turns and up to 95 miles an hour on the straightaways. The 66 works to the inside of the 33. He's going to bring a whole mess of folks with him as the 9 looking to make it 3 wide. He's going to think better of it as that Richie Smokin' Barbecue pops out to get the most out of that turn, and now the 33 just trying to find a way back into that inside line as the 9 of Grayson Ward also gets by. And don't look now, but here comes Kelsey Rogers in the 136 to also get by the 33. Now let's take a look. Where is that 28 machine? Alex Papini right now currently in 16th position, working in his own little battle. He's trying to get to the inside of some of these drivers because he wants to make his way back up to the front, and he doesn't have 150 laps to do it like he did last week. He's going to have to try to work through drivers as they come up and safely. You got another race that you have going on right after this, so he doesn't want to make too many people upset because you're going to need friends if you're going to make it through both of these features, Dave.
Absolutely, and Alex Papini making quick work of Kevin Knudsen in the 86 as he now puts Brett McCoy in the 36 in his crosshairs as we're under caution. Jaden Dahlberg being involved in this one. Let's take a look and see what happened. As it looks like Jaden Dahlberg may have been involved in a little scrum here. Dahlberg right here in the 36 machine. He's got the 510 on the outside. Remember, James was talking about that just a moment ago. As it looks like, Well, James, you might have been right about the 510 looking for who might have wronged him moments ago.
Yeah, and of course the first person on the radio was the 510, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" But at the same time, if we see that,
I mean, I guess if you're the first to speak.
I think the 510 just did not give any room at all, and he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. Here's the deal: the 510 felt like he was wronged. Let's take a look once we can get the camera
take a
angle
look
up.
right here at the 510's left front, and we're going to see exactly what happened here.
This is the.
That might just be incidental contact.
Let's see it from the chopper or the blimp. I want to see how this looked from that kind of angle, because I think this was just a driver not given any quarter. No quarter given because of the issues that we had earlier, and the 36 just did not have the room to make the turn.
Now the 36 looked like he had gotten a little low. I don't want to be the guy calling whose fault it might have been, but looks like the 36 might have gotten a little bit too close to that apron. And as we know, once you hit that apron and you come off the banking, it can get real hairy real fast for just about everybody.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good angle here. And, yeah, that was a racing deal, but the 510, it could have not been if he would have given a little bit more room. But like I said earlier, the only person that owes you anything is the IRS if you're doing it right. You know what I'm saying? These guys, he didn't have to give him room there. And that's what I'm saying. You got to make friends. And that's what happens is he just made a small mistake and popped up. But, no, that was a racing deal. Green flag racing now, 29 and the 3, battling out for second as the leader able to take off yet again, as it's a lot of fighting going on there. 28 gets loose.
They keep it moving. We're now too wide just behind. They get it sorted out, but the 29 just hemorrhaged these spots. See if they contact with the leadership.
Yeah, that being said, the 66, huge check up there, heads up driving. He saw the issue. He saw that it was going to be there, and he had to check up to not avoid plowing into the 29, as that was some heads up driving by everybody involved. As the Wood Performance number 9 trying to take advantage on the restart of the outside. He's going to have to do it quick as the 136 is coming up, and the 66 working on the inside. See what he can do, as that's what all of these cars are coming off about a lane after entry. So that's kind of what I was talking about here. You got to be very careful about how much room you're willing to give somebody. As we see in the back there, the 33 and the AMR 13 getting close. As boy, every time they're trying to just get as low as possible to make sure they can get that drive off, and it's gonna bite. It's gonna bite. This track is one of those that it is not going to be very forgiving.
Wall, and he's going to give it up to the 11, James.
Absolutely. And then who's that in the back? That's red and white of Alex Papini. He is just going to eat up these spots. He said, if you're going to give me that free chicken, I'm going to take it. As we are getting rolling here, working to the inside. This is your battle for, I believe, 11th right now. Yep, 10th. Andy Sargent gives it up. They're going to be on the way, but they're battling up front. Kelsey Rogers and Jeremy Bingham right side by side. As the 66 gets around and comes down in front of some drivers. That's going to be a big incident.
That could be the bad one here, as Jeremy Bingham just brought it around. Let's see what happens as we're under the 4th caution of this race. We'll take a look and see exactly what happened to the 66. Definitely not what you wanted to see, especially in his position. I gotta be honest, that impetus may be a little bit of neck code. We're gonna take another look at it here. As I didn't
You watch
see,
hockey?
I did.
If you watch hockey, that outside wall, who gets hurt more when you hit somebody into the bumpers?
Well, that's definitely 2 minutes for boarding if somebody hits you.
Let's take a look at here, because you'll see the 66 get into that wall and take away all the flex, and then just pumps right back out into that 9, just barely enough. And with these cars, if you don't have if you get on that wheel, it is not a good idea.
No, and I mean, you know, folks, you can see here. Of course,
Ooh,
we are
quick
on.
way to pause there.
We are in a good place that we can see right here. You're not going to see the 66 and the 9 actually make contact. That's what we call in iRacing. That's called netcode, and of course, netcode is iRacing's way of guessing what may or may not happen, you know, to a specific car during a wreck, or a possible wreck.
You know, you say that, Dave. I believe he got up into the wall, and that's what pushed him down into the 9.
But he never
maybe
it looked like he didn't make contact with the 9. In fact,
well,
let's see if
look,
I can find the 9.
when you see this, when you see these cars, notice how they're flared. That outside right is more out because the way these cars are set up. That I believe they're going to call this on the 9, but I actually believe that the 66 came off the wall and may have just got into that little flare that right rear has. Yeah, that was a perfect spot of it. And that's what happened there. You know what? iRacing does have its problems, but that was definitely, he got into the wall and came down into him, just barely enough. And when you catch that little flare on that right rear, it'll turn you real quick. As the 36 up to it again, green flag is out.
The 36 being chased hard right now by Trent Smith in the 3. As Trent Smith decided he was going to watch the 36 under caution again with 25 to go. This time it looks like Eric White may have been involved in it. We're going to take a run back here. You'll have to bear with us, folks. Just as we're getting back underway, watch that red and white 20 machine, that Miller car, as it looks like he wasn't. Oh, Alex Papini. That's a Tony Trapasso quote. The I live for that every week. There it is.
Oh yeah, did not see the one down there. That's 100% on the 28. If just on close contact, and I try to remain impartial because he's quick, but I think the 28 did not see the inside there, was taken, and you know, no spotters in these cars, right? These cars, they're out there on their own, and the 1X or the X1, he could have lifted a little bit, but you have no reason to, is that he's going to be called a racing deal with a lot of folks caught up in it.
No, and you know, the thing with
Let's
a
get
lot
slow
of this,
motion on that.
Slow motion it is. The thing with a lot of these cars is, you know, like you just said, the one he could have backed out, sure. But at the same time, he didn't have to. And folks, you know, you've got to remember that these drivers don't have to give it up, you know, as we see so often. In fact, we're going to play in here, and now we're going to go slow-mo here. Oh, that
comes up
upsetting.
just a little bit. Comes up just a little bit, but the 28, he took his lane. And if you're going to try and make aggressive moves, and there's nothing wrong with making aggressive moves here, it's going to bite you. As green flag back out, we're single file. Ty Fredrickson, Trent Smith going to battle it out. This is the best chance he's going to have to get up to him because he doesn't have to battle anybody on his inside here. So these two starting off fresh as the chase is underway with 20 laps here to go. Up front, Ty Fredrickson, Trent Smith, Corey Rogers, Weston Ward, and Caleb Adrian, your top 5 as they have it. As Ty Fredrickson hasn't really said his name a lot this season, he might have a chance to come in here and have his first win of the season. Absolutely, and if you're going to serve it, you need to wait till the very end. I tell you what, if you try and do it right now when everybody behind you is also battling and you cause a yellow, you've got to think about that for 20 more laps and then another feature. So the 3, I got to think he's going to race really clean here to try and get by the 36 up until all bets are off. And I bet that's about 5 laps left to go. No worries behind him. About a half a second back, Corey Rogers has his own problems to deal with. Weston Ward and Caleb Adrian trying to work their way into the mix as well, battling for points with the 136 and the 29 of Caleb Adrian as well. They are going to be working on trying not to slinky here as they get through these turns. You got to guard that inside, and that's what we're seeing. It's definitely going to cause a slow up as they're getting a lot less low, as you can see. Just when you guys see those marks on the little, they look like little pebbles. They look like a computer issue. Nope, those are called marbles, folks. Those are the rocks, the tire debris, everything that's coming off these cars are settling in the places where these cars aren't going, and it is dangerous in those areas. So if you see those marbles, that's what we say when guys are in the marbles. There's no traction up there. It's like driving on sleet. So these drivers trying not to get too low on exit, trying not to get too high where those marbles are, because drivers are not getting up there and moving those around. So this is going to be a single lane race from here on out for sure, as the 36 of Ty Fredrickson and Trent Smith still battling it out for the lead as we are down to 10-9 to go now here in the first twin of the night. Dave, the first. We've got a whole other race after this.
You know, and just in case you thought these last 67 laps were exciting, there's still 75 laps here in that second feature. And I'll tell you what, it looks like Trent Smith has figured Ty Fredrickson out. If he starts to make his move too early, he may run the risk of burning up that equipment too early. So at this point, he's got to pick his spot and decide when he's going to go. As it looks like he's going to start to make the move, he's trying to find a way around Fredrickson. Trent Smith does, as Trent Smith now is almost pushing Fredrickson around this racetrack, threatening to loosen him up, and oh, he does! Oh, and it sends Fredrickson out of the way, as Trent Smith is now going to take the race lead away. He's being challenged by Corey Rogers. The 5 is around, and we have pandemonium in the ring here at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Still wrecking in front of the flag man. Trent Smith, oh, that was quite the move, and that was, hey, you know what? That was a fair move. I tell you right now, that driver, let's take a look at that move first. That's the move I want to see, and that's the move that these drivers want to see.
That should be the X-Lax move of the race, if you will. As
so, let me call this. I'm sorry, I gotta look at it. Look at the 3. He'd been testing him this whole time, and then finally got into it. And look, he backs off. He backs off and tries to let him save it, but that push just had to come at that time. It was coming to the end of the race. The 36 knew it was coming, and he was driving out of his rearview mirror, and he paid for it.
He absolutely did. We're going to take a look here from the blimp as it's floating just above the speedway. And I'll tell you what, I do have to agree. It's almost like the 36 backed out just a little bit too soon, allowing Trent Smith and the 3 machine to come through. And then in that excitement, the 5 checks up. We're going to take a look here and see exactly what might have happened. But it's almost like the 5, in trying to avoid what was going on in front of him, forgot what was on his low side here. And you know what? That happens when you're trying to avoid what's going on. We're going to watch the 5. He sees the action in front of him and just gets clipped by the 29 as he's trying to avoid what happened in front of him and then, of course, get through traffic.
Yeah, 29, he was in no man's land. Caleb Adrian, he was in no man's land for sure. He was in that middle grouping. He didn't get as low as he absolutely needed to. And, this is a lot of action for the end of a race. And guess what? This top 10 is going to get inverted. So they're going to be driving next to each other up at the front yet again. But the 3 now, Trent Smith has the button. Corey Rogers and Kelsey Rogers 2 behind him, and Caleb Adrian on that outside, as he's going to have the button. He's going to have to get an absolutely good start as we are heading to overtime. Green, white, checkered. Oh, nope, the pace lights are back on. We have a car on the apron.
I'll tell you what, thank goodness that this is sim racing and we're not at the racetrack, because if I was Trent Smith right now, I wouldn't want to see Ty Fredrickson near the concession stand after this particular feature. I'm pretty sure that he'd be wearing a cup of sun drop on his shirt.
Absolutely. The pace lights are off. They're going to get going next time around. But hey, racer's going to race, right? That anger, it's going to dissipate. You know that you would do the exact same in the next position. If the roles were reversed, you got to think that's going to happen again. As he's bunched up, great start by the top four. Everybody gets going. He had that throttle on the back window. Everyone knew it. He was going, and he's going to pay for it. Corey Rogers and Caleb Adrian working on him. The 29 and the 17 going to try and split the leader here as the white flag is out. Coming to the checkered. Corey Rogers on the top side. Caleb Adrian on the bottom side. They're battling for position, hopefully enough to where it's not going to affect the leader as he's going to make it out of 4. The 29 sideways for 3rd. 17 into the wall. They're bumping. Photo finish. Give it to Corey Rogers for 2nd as Trent Smith takes away a win, and he got it the craziest way I've ever seen, as we are going to be right back into it. We're going to be taking a little bit of an ad break, and then we will be right back for the second half of the Richie's Smokin' Barbecue. Oh boy. The twin 75's here at Hickory Park.
What's up, guys? Roger Diebold, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
Welcome back to Hickory Motor Speedway in Hickory, North Carolina. Dave Regal and James Riles in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth with you live on Facebook.com. Glad to have you all with us. Thanks for chiming in there in the live chat. Glad to have everybody watching on Facebook. James, one more time, we'll talk about the elephant in the room as we've got about 15 seconds left of the warm-up before this second qualifier as to why we're live here on Facebook.com.
Yeah, and again, it's flattering, right? It sucks, and right now we're pretty angry at YouTube, but because our races look so much like the real thing, we had the Sunday Clash event happening at the same time. We had a Sunday Clash event happening at the same time, and YouTube tends to take those things very seriously, especially when somebody reports it. So we were unfortunately flagged for broadcasting the real life race while we were doing a race that was not real life. So we are dealing with that, dealing with YouTube and the bureaucracy. We'll see how that goes, but we should be back here very shortly. Hopefully within the week, we will know more information and be able to bring you guys that racing action. If not, you know what? We are live here on YouTube as well, so or Facebook. So if you haven't given our Facebook a like and a share or subscribe, whatever we do over here, follow, I believe, make sure that you do, because A, we have tons of racing, but Facebook is where we put out our fire memes, so you can go check those out. iRacing related, racing related, whatever we do. Of course, when our podcast software likes to be with us, we also put out these Facebook podcasts as well as everywhere you can find those at the Sim Racing Media Money Stop. We'll be talking about some fun stuff. We already got a little draft out of the way about the Clash, and of course the software ended up not working on us, but we are working on it and trying to get better to get those out a little quicker. But we have some good ones already up there from the previous times that we have dove into them, so you can hit those up at our website, simracingmedia.com, as well as check out some of our good merchandise we show. We also can do some custom stuff if you want some stuff done for your league, some t-shirts, flags. We do those in-house, so holler at us, we can make that happen. But here we are. We're talking about the Richie Smokin' Barbecue Racing for now, as we are going to be set in our second heat, as these drivers have had a chance to sit back, talk to each other about the race beforehand, right, wrong, or indifferent, and they're going to have to put that in the back seat, so to speak, as they head into this final feature. The score is 0-0. Nothing from the last feature is going to carry over as far as points, but finishing position will, other than the top 10 are going to be inverted for the second feature of the race. So Alex Papini fans, I know you're in the chat. He's going to have a second opportunity to try and make it, but he did break up and was not able to make the three-peat happen, as we had a new winner last heat, or last feature, I'm sorry, and we'll try and get him into the Discord and talk to him. These guys don't operate on Discord as much as our other leagues, so we'll just try and make that happen as we move forward here. Dave, I believe you have a somewhat approximation of the grid.
Absolutely. Alex Papini going to be taking us to the green flag here behind the iRacing.com pace truck. He'll be followed by Jeff Rogers on the outside of row number 1. Row number 2 made up of Scott Gardner and Weston Ward. Michael Ostiak in the 18 machine is going to be on the inside of row number 3 with Kelsey Rogers on the outside. Grayson Ward and Caleb Adrian making up row number 4, with row number 5 rounding out your top 10, Carter Nilsson and Corey Rogers. Randy Sargent and Jeremy Bingham going to be bringing up row 6. Row 7 made up of Ed Papineau and Brett McCoy. Tyler Deshane and Eric White in row number 8, with Anthony Data and Jaden Dahlberg. As we are green flag racing here, Alex Papini gets the jump over top Jeff Rogers and Scott Gardner. He's already out to a quarter-second lead, James. And I'll tell you, wow, we've got Jeff Rogers winning kinds of moves out here and just about 6 spots. Now back here in 8th position.
I think drivers got used to those warm tires, and that is a luxury that you do not have once you restart, get in the pits, get some fresh on there. As everybody now trying to get those tires warmed up, get some heat back into them, as we have a battle for third happening right now. The 18 and the 9 working that Valvoline paint job, trying to get everything it can as it comes into turn number 4, as the outside line hasn't gone away yet, but it's going to. There we go, caution later back in the field. They're going to get them restacked and re-racked.
Going to take a look at what might have happened here. Looks like Randy Sargent was involved. Not sure what brought it up. We'll take a look here at the 11 machine, that X1 right here in the middle of your screen. And we see just as he's diving into 3, just a little bump. And you know what? In these late model machines, one thing that I've noticed, especially, you know, I generally run those late models out there in the public service. And these late model machines, it doesn't take much to send them a spin.
Absolutely not. And the reason why, of course, these cars are not built around downforce like every other race car that's worth a lot more money is. These cars are built around being Saturday night heroes, weekend warriors. They are speed and just the bare essentials as far as everything that's not in between the two front tires there. So smaller brakes, live rear axle, you know, that single straight axle back there. So a little bit easier to get them bent out of shape, because once you lose traction on that inside tire, it is not a straight differential. It's not locked. So that inside wheel, once it loses traction, that's where all the power is going to go, and it is going to turn you around in a heartbeat. As Alex Papini takes his lead around here under caution, he's going to be taking the green flag probably next time around. These guys are pretty quick with the white flags with their live admin. As those marbles, the track condition did carry over, so unless you're going to go up there and pick up some extra tread on your outside tire, you are going to be in trouble if you get too low or too high. So that outside lane is not going to be able to do as much as they want.
No, right now this looks like a Wendy's burger to me. It's double stacked all the way through the field. Alex Papini, Scott Gardner, Grayson Ward, Michael Ostiak, and Weston Ward rounding out the top 5. On the outside of row number 3, going to be Weston Ward, Corey Rogers, as Papini takes the green flag. Back Grayson Ward, they're side by side getting into turn number 1. I'll tell you what, at this point, the fenders might as well be knocked off of some of these cars, because they are going to be beating and banging for the next all but 66 laps here, as we now have 10 in the books in the second feature. Looks like right now Weston Ward trying to hold off the 113 of Scotty Gardner, and we've got a wreck going on here with the... Oh! Wow, my goodness. Is this Hickory or Talladega?
Yeah, these drivers trying to get unstuck. See the 17 there. That is rough. The 17, he's got a little bit of crab walk going on, but big caution coming out.
Gonna take a look here. Just watch the 29 and the 18 right here is where we're gonna start this replay in TV4. There it is. And just as we get there, we're going to watch a little bit of contact there. Once the 18 hits the wall, he just collects everybody. And, you know, I've got a 4-year-old. He's going to be 5 in a couple of weeks. And it almost looks like he just took his Hot Wheels cars and just shuffled them around.
Yeah, you remember what I was saying about brakes earlier there? You think ARCA brakes are a problem. These cars, they're trying to get on the binders, but they don't have the big 18-inch brakes that these NASCAR cars that we're used to looking at have. So you're not going to get this thing slowed down as early as you'd want to, especially if you're not right there jamming on those binders, as we like to say. You are going to find some issues as just the feel. Let's take a, you want to go in the cockpit of the 510?
I'll tell you what, I do want to go into the cockpit of the 510, because here's the avoidance of the race. As right now, we're going to take a look. Let's see if I can pull that cockpit footage up. And I'll tell you what, he should really get the MapQuest Magellan Award of the night. We're going to watch him get on the brakes as soon as he sees everything happen. He gears down at the same time and manages to just navigate through here like an old world explorer. Maybe a little nudge there from the 36, but nothing major. As Anthony Danta now running up in 7th position. He has got to be thanking his lucky stars.
Yeah, for now. Of course, he had his bad luck last race. Hopefully he can avoid it this time around as well as he did there. But again, these cars do not have very large brakes. They're not built
that's what gets the race goes. And as the green flag is out, Alex Papini is going to bring him around. He has much experience in the front of this field. See if that's going to pay off for him as the 9 car is in chase mode as he's trying to get up there. Back behind him for third. Oh, the little car getting squirrely. He's in the marbles. You've got to be careful when you apply that power back there. He's going to be caught on the inside, but he did save it as now drivers trying to work that inside line, being right on that yellow, get as much as they can. As the 13 going to try and get back up into it.
And at this stage in the race, it's probably best that you get yourself single file. If you've got a faster machine out there and you know it, you might as well be patient and try to pick them off one at a time, just as Grayson Ward thinks he's going to take on the points leader, Alex Papini, as Papini drove from the rear of the field last week at Rockingham all the way up to the checkered flag at the end, got his way into victory lane. He's now being chased down by Grayson Ward, and Grayson looks like he thinks he can get around Papini. It's almost like he's firing a warning shot across his bow.
Yeah, Papini gets up into the wall. He's gonna have it kind of his work cut out for him, because the banking here is a lot more forgiving for that chase car. He doesn't have to push as much, but the 28 is going to have to keep an eye, because he knows what's the best way to pass around a short track, using that old chrome horn up there that this number 9 has to try and move him. So the 28 has to hit his marks perfectly, while all the 9 has to do right now is apply pressure and try and get a mistake out of the 28, which the 5 is also thinking the same thing about the 9. That's Weston Ward, Grayson Ward and Weston Ward, who are, I believe, they are kin. I don't know how, but they, I'm not going to say one way or the other here, but
you are such a southerner. Kin.
Yeah, I know, right? So they are trying to, they are related. They are related there in second and third. I'm not sure how.
You say that they are related.
Well, anyway, he's back there probably thinking, you know what, I don't want to make him too angry. I'm making me angry growing up. But Alex Papini, now he's got 2 in the rearview mirror. I would like to catch up on the chat. Misty Ward said, good job, Ward boys, as they are there in second and third. Michael Cooter says same. And then as far as cheering on Papini, and then Becca Lee, hey, I appreciate you. I do have a smooth voice, and I am kind of cute. So I know she's talking about me and not you, Dave, so eat it.
Really? No, that's fine.
Yeah.
The next time it's time for me to make dinner, I'll just make sure she doesn't get involved.
There you go. That's what we got to do, right? Luckily, you don't cook, as far as I've heard, as the 9 and the 5. As Alex Papini working it around, I'm going to get right back into the race so you don't have a chance to rebut as the Ward boys working around. Is there any racing going on past this, or is this everybody's kind of just waiting to see what these guys up front are going to do? Grayson Ward, Weston Ward, and Alex Papini trading blows right now as the 5 car can only wait so long. Doesn't matter who the 9 is. If you're faster than they are, you're going to have to try and get around them. As look at that. Oh, the 28 gets into those marbles on the inside. He keeps trying to go as low as possible, but he doesn't really need to defend right now. The 9 has kind of lost him a little bit. So just focus on hitting your marks, Alex, and you are going to make it, as the 9 trying to test down there as well. And I think this is just going to come down to who's going to make a mistake.
And that's something that we see a lot on these short tracks. I mean, who's going to... Oh! Speaking of making a mistake, the 9 car rubs the wall at just past the start-finish line and allows the 5 to crawl up into that rear bumper area. Oh my, that's definitely not the way that you want to slow down, as looks like they've gotten themselves settled back up. But after a rough run there in that first feature, looks like Anthony Dante here in the 510 City Chevrolet late model machine has gotten himself up into a nice comfortable top 5 position right now. As sometimes we think that karma is a bleep, but this time it looks like karma has come back and rewarded Mr. Danta on this run here. I would say it's like a recovery drive, but maybe a little bit different for him.
Yeah, these cars are fueled by that ethanol blend and hatred, and that is what Anthony Danta is using right now to try and get up to the front. If you take a look at the 36 Prep McCoy, there we go, back to the 510. He is trying to get up there, and as I'm hearing, Grayson is the older brother to Weston, so he's the little brother trying to come in here. Maybe too many noogies down when they were kids is going to come into factor here as Weston trying to catch the older brother. And there he goes, works to the inside, not given much room, fighting like siblings. There's a reason they say that, as they are moving up here as the bump gets back. And now they've got to worry about Kelsey Rogers in the 136.
Kelsey Rogers in the 136, trailing them by about 0.3 of a second, just a little less than 0.3 of a second. But right now the battle is between Weston and Grayson Ward, as they aren't giving each other any room whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that if Mom was driving the station wagon, she would be threatening to turn this car around by now if somebody doesn't give up a little bit here. But so far, so good here on the racetrack tonight. Papini, double Wards, Kelsey Rogers, Anthony Donta, Randy Sargent, Scott Gardner, Tyler DeShane, Brett McCoy, and Brian Smith round out your top 10. And just as we look back here, Tyler DeShane just a quarter of a second behind Scott Gardner in the 13 machine, as it looks like Tyler DeShane in that 33 going to give a little bit of room to Scott Gardner, as we are now on lap number 40 of 75 with Alex Papini having nearly a full second over the Ward brothers, who are still back here side by side. And finally, Grayson Ward thinks he's got it, and don't look now. His brother's right here on the top, waiting to get that run on him, as it opens the door for Kelsey Rogers to try to squeeze in there in this battle for third.
Absolutely. For what it's worth, Kelsey Rogers is up 5 positions, as he has had more work to get up here. So a little bit faster race car, but Anthony Donta now working in. And here's the thing, when you're racing this close and you try and bump somebody, they're going to bump the person in front of you, and that momentum transfers. So as these drivers are keep racing down astern, you got to keep an eye on that, because if you decide to put the bumper to somebody when they're deciding to put the bumper to somebody, we're going to have calamity. Mark my words. The next caution could very well, because of it be of a daisy chain reaction of bumping. As it comes out, Grayson Ward is the older brother, and he is showing it. The elder here, he takes out the teammate and the brother Weston Ward, and he's going to fall back to 5th. But talk about Anthony Donta. Luck be a lady tonight. He's up 16 positions from where he started. And he started back there because of his bad luck he had in the last heat, and he is making it happen. As you see those sparks fly, I'm telling you, these cars are wide. And that outside, that extra inch or however long it kind of flares out, and that's a little trick they use to get a little bit more side force. But it's definitely coming into play here as it shifts that barrier, so to speak, as the 5 works to the inside of 510. They're going to be battling Anthony Donta and Weston Ward. This is for 4th position, as Alex Papini's almost all but checked out. 0.91 seconds between him and the next car, as the 3's just trying to turn laps. He's damaged, but the 510 gets by, but not for much. Weston Ward needs to get back up there for bragging rights, as we're almost done with this thing. 48 of 75 laps completed, as Alex Papini just trying to check him off.
Well, and you know, without a doubt, it looks like Weston Ward trying to get back up there, and I'm guessing that as he and Grayson were growing up, that I guess the little brother usually gets to be player 2 on the old NES console, as I always got stuck with Luigi. My sister always had Mario, and we are under caution, as it looks like Randy Sargent and Scott Gardner have had an issue here. We're going to take a run back and look at Randy Sargent, and we see Randy Sargent here in the X1, and he just gets doored. My goodness, by the inside.
I don't know. I think that caution. Oh, that's where it is.
If that's not where it is, then iRacing has a severe problem with the algorithm.
I want to go see that again, because it looked like that inside car. The reason, oh man, they're going to be talking in the pits, because this was a misunderstanding. Go back a little bit farther here, because it started when this pit car was trying to make it to the there was a car trying to make it to the pits. The 13, can we get a cockpit cam of the 13?
Cockpit cam of the 13 coming up as soon as I find the darn thing. Now it's disappeared.
And here's why, and I'm going to talk through while you find it, because he's trying to make this inside pass on the 1. He throws it in there, which he you know, that's how you make passes here. He has no idea that this car ahead of him take a look. This car ahead's going to slow down way a lot, and then he has to push up to avoid it. And what we don't see there is, go back to TV1. What we don't see there is the ones on his outside. And
Yeah,
he didn't know. The one doesn't know that he had to come up for that reason, and he just comes in.
Yeah, I have to say, if Race Control hasn't already, the one car, the X1 car, is probably in a little bit of hot water with the admins for that one.
You got to think about it. You got to use your head if you're in these races. You cannot end a race that way, because the 13, I get it. From the one's point of view, the 13 came into him, doored him on a dirty pass. But what really happened is he saw the inside car checking up, and he thought he had to avoid him, and he just gives him a little nudge. That race could have gone on and been handled differently. But, you know, hotheads in the late models, these guys come out here, they practice all week to get out here and race. And sometimes your blood's not in your head. You're racing here, unfortunately. This is something else. That blood's all in your heart, pumping around your body, trying to make it, trying to get this win. But absolutely, 28, Alex Papini going to try and take the lead. He gets hard into the wall. Lots of damage. Is not going to work to the inside. He's going to have the inside, and Papini not going to give him an inch.
They're 3 wide behind him. They shuffle the 28 all the way back now. The 5th position, and that opens the door for Grayson Ward to take the lead. The 510 has suddenly decided he wants more, as he has now gotten himself to the podium. Anthony Donta does, as it goes Grayson Ward, Kelsey Rogers, Anthony Donta up front here now. All of a sudden, things have...
Papini in the 33 to Shane.
33. And we are back under caution as the 28 looks like someone has just peeled that back with a can opener.
We can dissect this a couple different ways. As looks like Papini.
Let's take a look here from the chopper, because I feel like that's where we're going to get the best view.
Yeah, 28 in the chassis. Sorry, I was tight, and that's exactly what it looks like. He got tight and then up into the 5, and then slowed down into the 1. And I think he was rattled. Let's see if we can go back to where that began with the 9 of Grayson Ward. And 100%, if you're passing Alex Papini, you have to do it this way. I don't care who you are. I don't care what's going to be said after the race. Alex Papini has shown that he is a competitor, and he's not going to give anybody the light of day. See how tight the 28 is to the 9 here, as the 9 has to go down, and the 28, he's tight right there. He is tight on the 9. He knows it. That's why he didn't get on immediately and yell at him. No, he knows, I'm going to race you tight. It's your job to pass me, and that's what the 9 did. And that's where we are.
Something that can be said about these late model cars, and of course, as you know, I don't get to call a whole lot of these late model races, so to me, I don't want to say it's a different animal, but it's definitely a different animal. You know, we're not running at those same 186 mile an hour speeds at Atlanta, or 175 miles per hour at Charlotte. We're at a much lower speed, so when you make contact with somebody, it's not near as violent. So this bumping and banging that goes on here on a short track, that's something that is just normal. And we get mad when our cars on an intermediate length track get damaged because it messes with your aero package. But the aero package doesn't much matter here on a short track, like we see here with Grayson Ward, whose car is pretty well clean. But I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts, as the great Chris Evans would say, that I'll tell you what, he's still going to make a run here at the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. But back to that with these drivers, if you're defending on the outside, that's a thing. That's a thing in late models. You can defend on the outside. You can get right up on the inside of that car that's running the preferred lane. As Alex Papini going to take the hit on that, he's going to go to the back of the field. Class act. He's saying, you know what, that's on me. I was defending. It didn't work out how I wanted to, and I ended up causing a caution. So he's actually going to take that big heads up
big move there from Alex Pepini to go to the back. But the 9, Grayson Ward, played it exactly right. Hey, if you're going to run me tight, I got to get an exit somehow. And that's what he did. As we are back underway, Grayson Ward has the lead. Only 10 laps left to go. Kelsey Rogers, Anthony Donta, Weston Ward, and Tyler Deshane now battling for the top 5 position.
Take a look right now at Tyler Deshane in the 33. He just barely saved himself that top 5 as we take a look at Anthony Donta, who is battling it out. This is a 3-way battle now for second position as Anthony Donta has his door handle right up against that window netting of the 136. 136 of Kelsey Rogers coming out the victor of this particular battle within the war. Of course, driving that pay-to-win Chevrolet paint scheme, pay-to-win.com, always a great place to go for your setups as we see Grayson Ward starting to run away with the lead. That leaves the battle behind him now as the 510 of Anthony Donta about to be overtaken by Weston Ward, who wants to get up there and battle his way for the lead with 6 to go now as we cross the start-finish line here in this final feature race tonight. Sorry, every now and then when some of these races are going on, James, I get sidetracked there, especially watching these guys battle it out.
Absolutely, battle for third, 510 Anthony Donta, and then the younger brother, the second son, trying to make his way up to the inside as he's going to do so. Going to push. Oh, gets pushed a little tight. The 33's not too far behind. He wants to try and improve his lot in life as there is a caution in the rear.
And that caution is going to bring up a green-white checker, which of course is how we just finished the last feature race. So we're going to see if that can maybe translate to good things happening. Meanwhile, Alex Smith on his recovery all the way up to 7th position. So I'm curious to see what the 28 machine, that American Red Center machine, is going to be able to do here. Is Ryan Smith in the 50, sitting in 6th, Tyler Deshane in 5th, Weston Ward, Anthony Donta, Kelsey Rogers, and Grayson Ward getting ready to take the green-white checker as the iRacing.com pace truck still has his lights on. And once again, folks, want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. Dave Regal and James Riles here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Of course, James Riles in parts unknown, Dave Regal from just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Glad to be bringing you all of this live action from Hickory Motor Speedway. I'll tell you what, James, it's been a race.
It has, of course, brought to you by J-Ray's Jerky. You can hit them up if you want something to give out at your next event, whatever you got going on. You can hit them and get custom labels, put on some jerky to hand out. Hey, what makes a better impression than some smoked meats? Speaking of Richie's Smoking Barbecue, you can also hit them up. We appreciate them coming in as the title sponsor for the series. You can holler at them if you want to get some great barbecue. If you're in the McChesney Park, Illinois area, get that delivered, DoorDash, whatever you got to do. Otherwise, if you're like me and you're here in Missouri, you got to go ahead and get that special ordered from a buddy. But you know what? It's worth every penny. So we appreciate those two sponsors coming on board. Not to mention, guys, I don't know if I'm breaking news here, but these guys run all year long on Monday nights. They're going to be coming back in the super late models after we get the final 2 races of the Winter Heat Series. And then it's real season action coming back on Monday in a couple weeks, so you can try it. So we are on a green-white checkered finish, Dave. What that means, same way we finished last time, you're getting some great racing action for free here tonight. They are going to get a green flag. They're going to do a lap. They're going to get a white flag. And then whether they get a yellow or a checkered, this race is over after that, as we only have one attempt at a green-white checkered as that Chevrolet pace truck going to hit pit lane. Grayson Ward going to have the opportunity. And there we go. We are green flag racing. All with a 510. Anthony Donta gets put in the wall. They're still racing. Grayson Ward in the 136 battling it out for the lead. Kelsey Rogers, Alex Pepini made it up to 3rd. He's going to maybe have an opportunity here. Grayson Ward and Kelsey Rogers, though, the main event happening, coming into the final lap. White flag is out. Grayson Ward. Can Kelsey Rogers get up to do anything to that number 9 machine? Is the last chance here. He's not going to have it. Give the win to Grayson Ward. 2 first-time winners tonight, folks. It only happens at the Twins.
I'll tell you what, it's been a fabulous race tonight here at Hickory Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you what, this is one of those situations where, you know, we get to see brothers going at it. We had a lot of drama tonight, and right now, Grayson Ward showing up as the winner here in that number 9 Ward Performance late model car. And you know what? It makes me look forward even more to next week's race. Of course, next week, I will not be in the broadcast booth with you, or at least I don't think I will be. But these 3 drivers here have absolutely put the time in this week and proved why they belong on the podium together.
Absolutely. Kelsey Rogers made it there. I'm trying to figure out who S Trent 03 is, but Dave, I'm going to let you go over some final stuff. I'm going to go in the racing lounge and find out who we got here.
Yeah, the way things wrapped up tonight, folks, we're going to pull up the feature, if we can, in just a moment here. Get that tower out of the way. We've spent a lot of time with her tonight. In this final feature, Grayson Ward comes out the winner with Kelsey Rogers and Alex Papini joining him on the podium here. Ryan Smith finishing in 4th, Trent Smith in 5th, Ed Papineau in 6th, Tyler Deshane in 7th, Jaden Dahlberg in the 036 finishing 8th, Anthony Donta in the 510, and Brett McCoy rounding out your top 10. Weston Ward, Scott Gardner, Randy Sargent, Corey Rogers, Jeremy Bingham, Jeff Rogers, Eric White, Michael Ostiak, Carter Nilsson, and Caleb Adrian rounding out the top 20 in our final feature here tonight. And folks, you know, here's the thing. We talk about this all the time in racing, and you know, at a short track like this, the tempers are going to flare like we saw tonight. And you know, we're looking forward to next week, of course, at New Smyrna, another short track that we're going to be able to bring up here for you tonight, or next week, I'm sorry. And you know, the J-Race Jerky Fajita Garlic Twin 75's has been everything that it was promised to be. And you know, to be in America's most famous short track, the birthplace of so many NASCAR stars, this is a place to hang your helmet. This is a place where it's not just about the racetrack itself. It's not just about the racers itself, but it's about the history that we've experienced here. You know, over decades and decades. Of course, NASCAR celebrating their 75th anniversary here in the 2023 season. And, you know, we look forward to history like this. Of course, NASCAR looking forward in the Cup Series to be bringing the All-Star race from North Wilkesboro and, you know, getting back to their southeastern roots. Of course, a little bit of ribbing earlier toward James Riles, as I called him a Southerner, as I'm one of those damn Yankees, as they say. And, you know, sure, we have some great tracks here in the Northeast. You know, of course, we have Dover just a little ways away from myself, and Pocono just about equidistant. But, you know, here at Hickory and at North Wilkesboro, it is just where all of that history is locked up. And James, not sure if you're back yet, but
yes, I am. As you talk about history, we made history tonight. The first-time winner of the Winter Heat Series, Grayson Ward. Man, congratulations!
Appreciate it, man.
So, Grayson, I know we saw earlier, you know, you were fighting with your brother there, able to come out on top, and then Alex Papini, you had the champ on your outside. He pinched you just as low as he can, textbook, trying to defend from the top, but you were able to make it happen. Tell us what was going through your mind.
Yeah, you know, right there at the beginning of the race, I was running second, and I had my little brother right there behind me, and he was pushing it, and I was like, well, you know, go on. I'll let you go on and get you a stab at it. And then he got tight and knocked the wall down, kind of like I did in the first race or whatever. And then I just went on, got around him, and then we got a caution right there, and that, you know, that opened the opportunity up to race Alex again. And it looked like he just got tight right there, and you know, brushed the wall coming off 4, and you know, that opened the door up for me to get a run on him right there going into 1. And yeah, he pinched me down trying to hold a position, but I was like, screw it, you know, we'll take it to the apron, you know. But you know, it was a fun, clean race. I love Hickory. This is my home track. This is where I race at in real life, so I enjoy this place, and had a lot of fun with these guys tonight.
Absolutely. Well, it looked like an awful lot of fun. And you said this is your home track. You sure showed it. You defended. How bad were those marbles? I don't think I've ever seen marbles as bad as a track as I have here. How dominant was that line and getting outside? How dangerous was it?
Yeah. The marbles. I mean, it just carried over from practice. I think they had a 2-hour long practice, and then they had a qualifying session, and then they had a last chance qualifier race and a warm up. So the track just kept getting, building rubber, and then finally would peel up, and that's what you see up on top of the racetrack is in marbles. But ideally you wanna enter real high and try to lay the apex to corner because it's like a double apex, especially right there in 3 and 4. So if you can get that good run off of 4, it'll help you save your right front tire, and you'll be long run consistently on speed. So that's what we try to do.
Absolutely. Well, Grayson, congratulations on punching the win out here at the home track. And just tell us who gets it done for you. Who you got on the car?
Yeah, just Ward Performance, Hermitage, Showtime Video and Tannin, all the guys at Elite Performance Industries that helped me out, throughout iRacing, Tyler Payne, Ryan Matthews, all them guys. Shout out to my younger brother there. He was running good. I think he ran out of gas, actually, is why he couldn't race or finish the race right there. So, but yeah, that's it. And y'all guys put on a good race, good broadcast. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Appreciate the kind words, Grayson, and good luck moving into it next week.
Thank you.
And then I believe, Dave, you have our second place finisher, Kelsey Rogers.
Kelsey Rogers, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave. How's it going?
Not bad. The 136 tonight, you had them cranked up. I mean, gained 4 spots here in this particular feature, but man, what a run tonight for the 136 team.
Yeah, we'll take it. We kept our nose clean, unlike most people, and brought it home up towards the front in both races. So move on to the next week. Made up some points.
You absolutely did. And I mean, going into next week's race at New Smyrna, I mean, what are you looking for as far as trying to gain yourself any kind of position there in points? I mean, it's been a long season, and just as I'm looking here in our standings, I mean, you're back 93 points from Alex Papini. Is there any chance that you can maybe try to at least leapfrog Corey Rogers or gain on Garrett Stricata?
Yeah, I think we could maybe finish second or third. Alex is probably a little bit out of reach. We had some bad luck early in the season, so hopefully we can carry that through to the end of the season and finish up there. I'm not sure if there's any awards or anything like that, so who knows? We'll just play it out for bragging rights.
Bragging rights for sure. And of course, one of the things that I always have to tip my cap to, and maybe you can say the same thing, this league is absolutely organized when it comes to, I'm listening to race control and things during the race. I mean, take us through some of these green-white checkers, that we've had tonight, and maybe some of the cautions. I mean, you guys are so organized. I mean, how is that for you in the car?
Yeah, the league's been around for a long time. All Pro's always done a really good job at getting numbers and putting on good events. So that's kind of why you see guys like me and Grayson and some fast guys coming back to it week in and week out. We've got some new guys here. We're starting to gel now that we've been around for 10 weeks or so. So things are moving in the right direction. But yeah, the league's run pretty well. They don't let anything get by, and they follow through on everything they say they're going to do.
Absolutely, man. Listen, before we cut you loose here, is there anybody that you need to tip your helmet to tonight for this run?
Yeah, you guys for broadcasting, Richie Smoking Barbecue, and Pay to Win Setups. If you're looking for a setup on iRacing, head over to paytowinsetups.com and they'll get you straightened out.
All right, brother. Well, listen, congratulations. And James, I believe you did. I saw Papini in here, but looks like I don't see Alex Papini anymore. Well, James, another one in the books here for the Winter Heat Series. Of course, the season finale for this winter off-season late model series coming up next week at New Smyrna. What are you looking forward to as we get ready?
Oh, it's going to be absolutely amazing. These guys have already shown that they're coming out here and they're going to race. I can't imagine what they're going to do at New Smyrna once we head down to the beach and escape some of the weather. And it's going to be a good one as Alex Papini has stepped out to do some race review. But overall, I'm excited about it. gonna be a fun one, and we're already hearing that Alex is saying, you know what, I'm just gonna do the race review. I ain't trying to get in there right now. He'll talk to us next week after he wins another one, I'm sure. But it's gonna be a good one. We already went over the final finishers, and Dave, I believe you can send it off, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Regal and James Riles with you once again. Want to thank you for making us a part of your evening here at Hickory Motor Speedway, the birthplace of NASCAR stars. And we're glad to have you with us here on Facebook.com. Once again, we appreciate y'all migrating over here from our usual YouTube feed. But you can check out the YouTube feed tomorrow once it's uploaded. And once again, here on Sim Racing Media, Dave Regal and Mr. James Riles. And remember, tomorrow, take one happy moment, one good moment of your day, and carry it and hold on to it just as you finish out the day. Good night, everybody.